So, I'm going to play some Acropolis. Alright. So we've got Bullet playing her Egyptian. She's in the red trunks. What's that weapon? It's pretty cool. Swordfish. Up against controlPriest. Yellow trunks. Romans. So we're playing on Acropolis. It's one of the new maps. So the beauty of Acropolis is it's one of the hybrid maps where the water doesn't really seem to play a completely game-ending element, and the cliffs don't really seem to be a completely game-ending element, but they also tend to help prolong an early loss. So, truth be told, the map really probably does feel like a nice hybrid of Arabia and coastal, without necessarily having the annoying elements of either map, because Arabia, it's that bloody large, and it's that punishing not being able to control the low ground. But even if you're stuck on the high ground, you can just drag out the game for 20 bloody minutes. While in coastal, the water is pretty game decisive. So see controlPriest, going to go for an early dock. He wants to try and maybe start gathering some fishies, or possibly force out an early warship. Bullet looks like she's going to go for a fast town centre, so she's probably going to want to push on the land before controlPriest does, if she's not looking to contest the water. If she is, I think she might still be able to fit in warships. Considering controlPriest has still got to take age 2 and queue the warship up himself, but Bullet is going to have to try and get the dock up and the age 2 up at around the same time, and get that at around the same time controlPriest takes age 2. He is going to commit to fishing boats though, so if he commits to any more than one here, it's probably going to mean he's going to actually be the one to field the slower warship, provided she gets the dock out when she starts aging up. But 3 stone gatherers, I think controlPriest might be up against Bullet, looking to do a second town centre. controlPriest himself hasn't started taking gold and is looking to gather more stones, so I think he's also wanting to play dock town centre. And so Bullet, she's seen the dock. She's going to want to go for one herself and start gathering a bit of gold, because bearing in mind she's gone hunting dogs, controlPriest hasn't. So his age up time will be slightly faster, and he'll be in a slightly better position to go for the warships. Because I think Bullet's actually going to have to gather more gold to build a trireme, while controlPriest's halfway to his second Liburnian in terms of his gold in the bank, which is pretty important because neither of them have actually started gathering any. So if there is going to be a warship fight, which I don't know if there will be, considering the amount of stone both players have got this early on. So it looks as though controlPriest is going to get away with this single fishing ship opening. Can possibly even look at adding in a second dock behind, second fishing boat, or taking the net lures upgrade behind this while he throws down his town centre. Because Bullet just going to play fairly defensively. She's not going to be very rushable, considering the distance between these two town centres. She's really securing all these initial resources, even making it a bit easy to try and take this gold mine over here. She hasn't been lucky enough to get one in the back of the base like controlPriest has, but she's also got quite a few in the immediate vicinity of her low ground, which is quite nice for her. While controlPriest, he does have this nice gold mine at the back, but he doesn't really have a lot of safe, doesn't really have any safe top gold mine, and he's going to have to try and defend this one over here. controlPriest does have this one and this one over here. So golds, even with controlPriest having this nice one in the back, probably still favour Bullet in the long run, I think. Except this one probably could be slightly closer to her. I don't know. It's interesting, controlPriest hasn't decided to fit in another another fishing ship just yet, but he has already got that second town centre. Villager counts at 20 to 17, so Bullet with a slight lead. She's going to go for barracks units, and she might have to get some spearmen in amongst the axemen if controlPriest is going to go for a double or triple Decurion raid, which should get him quite a bit of value, I think, because if he can manage to shut down Bullet's hunt economy while keeping her off the water, it might give him quite a big advantage until she starts getting age 3 upgrades. Which probably could do with reallocating these villagers to the trees here. Just saves that little bit of walking time. controlPriest is a little bit closer to his storehouse, but I think he probably could do with the second one over here maybe. And these things are important, but they aren't particularly major. But it just means you get that little bit of wood trickle slightly faster. It's almost like having another wood upgrade. So 2 barracks opening here. A Bullet is going to get some spears. So the Decurions, third one in training. They are going to be able to get a couple of villager kills, I think. But if Bullet does get some spears behind this, she may be okay. She is going to get stables, but she did get spear champ, so I don't know if she necessarily needed to look at getting both this early, considering the Romans are only going to have so many Decurions. If you are worried about the Decurions, maybe go for the stables first and pump out early cavalry, get some camels out in the field, and then just get some axes to deal with a legionary push if you feel one's coming before you go for a quick age 3. But she is going to get spears, which they're not useless. Obviously they are going to be useful against Decurions, but they're not going to be as useful as camels could be, considering they're slower. Ideally having both, which is very expensive to commit to for a civ that's only going to be able to field so many cavalry early. But she does manage to ward off the Decurions for now. controlPriest probably can actually engage on this hunt, but chooses not to. I mean, he's got the health to. If he leads with the high health one, pulls out before the spearmen get there, he can probably get a villager kill. For now, he's doubling back. Actually, he's going to try and hit this top side, but there's already spears there. So Bullet making use of champ, spear. She has gone double stables and isn't really training any camels out of them. And I mean, if she was, she could afford to get axemen from the barracks in the meanwhile. And she could probably field a pretty scary age 2 comp for the Roman to deal with, force him to have to really commit to a lot of his own legionaries and delay his Scorpio use. So controlPriest is going to try and engage here, but he's going to have to back off. So he's actually going to wrap around, but nice defense here from Bullet means controlPriest isn't going to be able to get this for free. In fact, he's going to have to retreat, I think. He may lose a Decurion here, so he probably needs to get his legionaries to come across. But considering the Bullet's committed to so many spears, and the Decurion gets out, considering Bullet's committed to so many spears, this means that the Roman player can just field a good number of legionaries and push. Especially because Bullet's army's pretty split. She has got camels now, but while she's trying to hit with them, if the Roman player just engages, keeps that low Decurion to the back, he can really get a lot of value here, pushing Bullet off either of these hunts. So he's going to try and commit to this low ground hunt here too. Looks like controlPriest is going to try shoving. He's gone up to 3 fishing ships on this dock. He does have 5 camels inbound to his base, so he's got to have to be careful of that. And he's not actually pushed with this little Roman army. He's got age 3 in the mix though. That's quite a little bit of health off that camel actually. It's not great for Bullet. She's not got any healing at the moment. I mean, she's got a couple of priestesses, but she hasn't really got enough to really heal her army. got enough to get what she wants out of train and research, which is good. So controlPriest taking the age 3 quickly. He hasn't got SPQR in the mix just yet, which is going to be quite handy for him, but he is still streaming more villages across. I don't know why controlPriest has put that there when you could put it right next to the stone line. Probably needs to look at pushing with this army. He's going to be careful against the camels, but a couple of spearmen or even some legionaries should be able to deal with this. But he should be able to just push, completely overwhelm, pull it over on the top side. But she is going to get some good value, killing an engineer, getting some others away from the buildings. So this is going to make it hard for controlPriest to keep training, and he's going to have to send something back. But he's certainly got the army to be able to deal with this. As long as the Decurions don't get focused, Bullet should lose all those spears. So the camels are going to come back, but they're going to get intercepted. It's going to be rough for Bullet because she's going to drop a couple of units. Actually, she's going to save most of them. She's got some good control here. Storehouse is going to go down. The Roman army should be able to collapse on top of the Egyptian army pretty harshly here. controlPriest probably needs to get all these units heading across to cover for these guys while they run away. Because right now Bullet's just going to get a couple of easy kills. You don't really want to split your army up too much. Bullet has all the axes down here, so controlPriest is probably not in a bad spot to try and take this army out, but he probably can't let her mass this up because she is ahead in population here. We've got 62 villages to 64. Ecos are pretty even. The controlPriest certainly trailing in terms of the army size, so if he gets engaged on here by Bullet's whole army, it's over, but if he fights these one at a time, he might be able to win here, but ooh, this is really bad for him because Bullet, nice surround, hitting from both sides of the army. As long as she can focus down units by the counters, she should win this fight pretty handily because she's got, oh, no Axeman champion, but even still, she's forced controlPriest off a lot of these resources. Where's she actually going with the villages? She probably should have just run them home. They would have been safe, but he might be trying to split the camels off to get some kills here. The controlPriest gonna have to try and get this gold down here. Don't know why he's throwing the storehouses so far back. So controlPriest has taken the early form, but hasn't gone for any Clinicus and hasn't got a SPQR yet, so he's sort of hurting here, having invested in that building, which is so valuable, but he hasn't really got anything out of it. Bullet going to try and deny the gold mine. Not the biggest deal, because I mean you can take safe markets on this map quite easily, but Bullet looks quite scary. She's got Axe Champion on the way. She's pretty much maxed out. She just needs this third town center to finish up. She has got Temper. There is both Temper and melee armor, scale mail for the Roman player. No chariots or any other form of range for the Egyptian player, so technically controlPriest is ahead by an upgrade, but he is down in terms of the army size, doesn't have any healing, doesn't have any Scorpios. So controlPriest is going to find it quite rough considering Bullet. She's got healing, she's maxed out with the age 3 army. She is even squeezing in a couple of chariots now right at the end, which is going to be quite useful because it's going to force the Roman player into getting the shield rim for the ranged armor, though he does already have melee armor. I guess they've come in. It's only a single villager on that fortress, so if controlPriest engages right now, he can probably overwhelm this, considering he's started to catch up on the pop situation. We could just delete that fishing boat, really. Needs to train more army, though, because right now he's got the resources to do so, got the buildings to get this army out to win this fight, but he just isn't. Well, Bullet's max, so I mean, she's probably wanting to go in here. She should probably raid and throw up a bunch of watch posts everywhere. She's got a couple of watch posts out, but she's just missing the gold mines, so she doesn't know she could split off a handful of units and really clean up a lot of control priests villages over here who are really in the red zone. Like they're behind the army. So at the moment, Bullet can really afford to split some units off. But meanwhile, she might actually catch control priest army moving out here, force an engagement. This is quite good because she's still up in the population situation. She's even going to get camels onto the Clinicus. Control priest trying to fight with not really any Scorpios in the mix here, so this is going to be rough because without any cover from that siege, it's going to lose a lot of this front line because there's Axemen, they've got the champion, so they've got the splash damage. There's chariots backing this up, so there's going to be good range damage from the Egyptian army. Bullet's playing this really smoothly, even though she's down in armory upgrades, or relevant armory upgrades to control priest. She just isn't making enough units, just isn't making enough Scorpios to back them up. Considering how melee heavy this Egyptian army is, he probably could even get some bowmen here. This is nice, he's got a good choke here, while a lot of Bullet's units are focusing down buildings, not really maximizing their own splash, and they're really copying it from the Scorp. So control priest holding out with everything he can. He's pretty low on food though, can afford to cancel a couple of legionaries in some of these buildings though. Maybe try and cram some more officers out in the meanwhile. You could just throw up another Praetorium or Castellum. Probably could have even taken Presidium here, but it looks as though he might be able to defend. He's got just enough Scorpios. Bullet just quite can't crack him, but she is going to have those elephants. Oh, very smart for her to tower this. It's going to have to force control priest elsewhere, taking a very risky gold mine. But Bullet forced a retreat. So Ellie in the mix. So without a huge number of bowmen, it's probably hard to take down the war elephant. And without a huge number of anti-cavalry. At the same time, there's a good number of Scorps here. And if Bullet bunches up too badly, she might lose a lot. Oh, this is not great for control priest though. He's sort of overextended with the Scorps, but now he's going to clean up a lot of the front line. Legionaries are quite tanky. Once he can split up these Scorpios, he might be alright. Probably just needs to get something on the chariots. Echo's on the way in, so he might be able to focus down the low war alley and go straight on the chariots, but I don't know if he's got enough of a front line because Bullet's doing a wonderful job maxing out behind this, even spamming spears just to try and field enough units to try and cover for these chariots. Got age 3 pierce damage now, so control priest is no longer ahead in terms of the armory upgrades, and the fact that he's fighting at such a unit difference, Bullet's just able to overwhelm him. She's really denied him gold around the map. GG. Game number 1 to Bullet.